and just kept wasting opportunities. And then Tommy Makinson took a knock in back play, and he was the first play of the ball. He was just about out of it enough because it was a early carry, dummy off run kind of situation that the referee didn't stop play. And then when the ball kind of moved a couple of times, he was so far behind the play that he wasn't involved in the play, and he didn't go off for a concussion test or anything like that, so it wasn't a genuine head injury situation. Not like when Ashton Golding hurt his head with the ball in his hand and the play had to be stopped because that
Yeah.
player was clearly the injured party, and the same with Callum Watkins, I think, in the second half. But so the referee didn't pull the play up for the man in back play, and that created all the space. But Leeds had to do clever work to make that happen because Tom Briscoe spotted it and came all the way across the field and got involved in the action and made the extra man down that passageway. So it was good play from Leeds as well to take advantage of that extra man. But I think Saints fans were aggrieved that the whistle wasn't blown to stop play on that one. I can understand where they were coming from, but I certainly don't think it was the wrong call from the referee because the player wasn't seriously injured.
And he was well
Wasn't
out,
affecting the game.
and as the play started, he was well out of the way.
Yeah, I think so. But I think that was the thing that got them most aggrieved. Leeds fans, though, have had plenty to say about the penalty that was given on Carl Ablett for playing the ball too fast.
Oh, I can well admit, yeah. Well, it was an odd one because he clearly hadn't made enough of an effort. He'd clearly surrendered, which but then it is an odd one, and I think it was probably just more in Charles' explanation of it. The fact he actually over elaborated and he said, "No, it's a penalty. Thank you very
Well,
much."
I think Paul O'Brien, the SLP referee, cleared this up for us because there was a bit of chat with John Padgett today, and I was thinking it's more about the surrender aspect because he basically surrendered, but then got up so fast that no one could have the chance
Yeah,
to hold him down. No defender could get set, and so you can't surrender, but then get up without giving the chance of the defenders to get set. I thought, but more crucially, what Paul pointed out is actually he was still on his knees when he put the ball down. So
okay,
he'd not
yeah,
actually it surrendered to the tackle, but then not actually
got up to play the ball.
given himself up. And then played the ball properly. He'd put the ball down to play it too fast. So the explanation of he played the ball too fast was more that he put the ball down on the. So he
Yeah,
played the ball incorrectly, is what Paul pointed out, and he picked a clip out to demonstrate it. So that's why it's fantastic having referees who want to be, not make things a bit more dramatic and stuff, but actually just give us the facts and the good view. So get Paul O'Brien on Sky.
yeah.
But yeah, Paul covered it off for us, and everyone was happy with the outcome then, I think. So Leeds fans, check out our Twitter feed, have a look at what Paul had to say, and then you'll all be happy.
We certainly wouldn't want me after my very short refereeing career, but
We were happy as well because Carl Ablett got penalised, and that's always a joy to behold.
it is. It's another one for the Wall of Fame. Every Carl Ablett penalty just makes everybody a little bit happier.
I suppose the Ash Hanley tries, not great defence, a little bit of opportunism from Leeds as well there, especially the first kick where Ryan Hall just came flying through the screen, and every Saints defender seemed to be looking at Ryan Hall rather than where the ball was going to actually go, and it ran all the way through for Hanley to score.
And I still agree with what some of the stuff you guys were saying last year about, well, is it time to move Ryan Hall inside? Start looking at putting him in the pack, put him in second row.
Well, it looked like the two swapped a little bit, wing and centre,
Yeah,
occasionally, and I think that seems to be working okay. I just think those tries were kind of poorly defended by Saints, and but great credit to Ash Hanley being there on the right place, right time to finish them off, because that's what outside backs really, should be making the bread and butter on. And
and then the try that where they Saints looked like they were going to try and mount some sort of comeback, the Regan Grace try, or the sort of Regan Grace setup and his break.
Yeah, for the Ben Barber try.
For the Ben Barber try, but it was as much as it was Grace's excellent, work to get down. The support line from Ben Barber was absolutely fantastic.
And he's running at pace
Yeah.
this year, which he wasn't doing last year. But it wasn't to be, and Leeds were the better team. I don't think anyone would argue with that. Do you want to say anything else on this one before I run through the stats?
Just the last bit was, right at the end, there was the point where Barber just tried that a little bit too hard on the scrum play. Didn't quite show the composure that he could have done to try and get that ball away, and he tried to do it himself a bit. He sort of almost, you think, might have wrapped up in his own hype from the previous try and thought, I can do this. Here I go. And then that led to them conceding the ball, and that was game on.
Yeah, and that was kind of the thing, wasn't it? Players trying to do stuff themselves, all those sort of
Yeah.
playmaking players, and not really relying on any of the structures and setup play that got them this far, so far. Okay, so although Saints made a couple fewer breaks, 4-6 on that count, what really hurt them in this game was the 18-9 error count they gave up. Otherwise, with 1.3 metres per carry better average gain in a close total metres count and 1.7% better team tackle success, Saints wouldn't have been expecting to lose this one, and certainly not by the margin that they did in the end with the two-score gap. But yeah, errors.
It was.
Simple as that.
Yeah, error.
From the Leeds side, Matt Parcell had another stellar game. One try assist, 120 metres. Tom Briscoe had a try assist, 139 metres and 2 clean breaks. Callum Watkins, in the hour or so he was on the field, had 127 metres, 3 successful offloads. And we'll throw in JJB with his tackling exploits, 46 tackles from the old man there. For the losing St Helens side, Ben Barber was electric again. 2 tries, 6 tackle busts, 106 metres. Adam Swift, a try, 6 tackle busts, 157 metres. He worked hard in exit sets as well as making some chances there. So well done to him. He's now starting to cement a place back in that side. James Roby, 51 tackles and 103 metres, despite it probably being one of his worst games of the season. Seb Tyre, 151 metres. He's been consistent so far this year. Something else that's been consistent so far this year is how terrible the Catalan Dragons have been, and this really, really did peak awful from them this game. It was Warrington 26, Catalan Dragons 0 at home for the first time in their existence, in front of a measly 6,585, which is a dwindling week-on-week number, although it was throwing it down.
It was chucking it down. Did you catch this one?
Yeah, Chris Kendall was the referee, and yeah, I did watch this one, and the amount of times I walked out of the room to do something else but couldn't quite bring myself to turn it off. But some other people couldn't bring themselves to turn it off either.
Yep, starting with Swiss_Cowboys_78. What an utter rubbish. 2 wingers Simbin for getting their handbags out was the highlight of the game. To be fair, it was cracking. Catalans are just not good enough, and the Wolves will have the Wolves will have problems to make the Super 8 with this form.
Wire Joe says, much better from us, especially in the first half, but we switched off a bit after about 50 minutes and our habitual penalties crept back in. Granted, Catalans are absolutely abysmal, but we absolutely had to come away from the south of France with the 2 points, and we did just enough to make sure that happened.
Yeah, Mal Karma Tios, Fressie's laughing his tits off. Laughing face emoji, knife emoji.
And Alan Walker, who may or may not be Malcolm Matias, said, this might not be the first time I've said it, but Stupor Coach Steves needs a slaughterhouse visit. Hashtag slaughterhouse visit, one-way ticket.
Tom, is this real, Dad?
It might well be. He hasn't expanded enough for me to know, but it could well be.
Welcome if it is. So, despite having an incredibly dull attack, I'm taking solace in not having McNamara as coach. I do think it's worth reiterating, though, that Busquets is 26 in capital letters.
Yeah, I don't know why that's so significant. That's making me consider it not to be real, Dad, Tom.
Mentioning McNamara was what threw me that it might be.
Yeah, but so despite having an incredibly dull attack, I'm taking solace in not having McNamara as coach. Suggests that it's a Warrington fan, Tom. So if this is a new, it might be Tom Eckley. That's who it could be. We haven't heard from Tom Eckley for a while, but it could be him. Lee Whitnall, who we definitely know who he is, and we definitely know he's a Warrington fan, said, we played the conditions well and there were some positive signs from the halfbacks, albeit against the weakest team in Super League. Hopefully we can take some confidence from the win and start to build from here.
Yep, so that's all the feedback. I mean, let's not dwell on this one. This was not one they'll be making a DVD out of, that's for sure. It was Warrington. They did enough, but it was just Catalan were poor again, which is a on-running payment. Surely, how long do you think we'll have McNamara hanging around for?
Um, I would say his very, very last chance is the cup game at York, and if they don't get things going by that stage, then even if they win that one, but not handsomely potentially, that's is going to then. Before then, they play the three other teams currently in the bottom four of Super League, so they need to pick up 2 of 3 wins from there, and then win convincingly with some exciting attacking play away at York in the cup, and then he might be safe. But if those things don't happen, he's a goner the week after Easter for me.
Yeah, moving on to the stats.
Oh no, I had a
Oh
bit
no,
more. I
okay.
had a bit more to say. Sorry. Just in that, I actually, the fighting aside and all of that stuff, suitably dealt with. I think the first fight in the first half was actually better than the fight between the forwards in the second half, if anything, because that was definitely handbags. Kevin Brown, after slaughtering him for his performances in a wire shirt, was actually pretty consistent in this game. He read the situation of the game really well and just thought, if we keep turning Catalan around, they've not got the fight in them to make the meters here, and the conditions are horrible, so there's not going to be any ability for them to move the ball around, even if they had players who wanted to move the ball around, which they don't. So he really put them under the pump and made sure that they just basically never got chances to score, really, or
Yeah,
hardly ever got chances to score, which just meant that Warrington completely controlled the field position, and never were under threat of losing this game once they got a 1 or 2 try lead early in the first half. And yeah, Ben Murdoch-Masila grabbed a couple of tries, so I gave him a bit of a negative shout a couple of weeks ago, saying he's a bit of a flat track bully. And the other line on Ben Murdoch-Masila is his missus has signed up for the Saints ladies team for the Women's Super League that's starting next month. So interesting one to look out for there.
excellent. That'll be good.
So that's all I had. That's all the rest I had to say. It was horrible, weren't it? This game.
It was not one that I'll be looking back on with any fondness at the end of the season. Moving on to the stats in terms of the teams, hugely one-sided stats in this one. Wire had over 500 metres more than a Catalan side that went under 1,000 metres, all was the danger mark. They had also had a brilliant 98% team tackle success, wins in average gain, breaks, errors, and penalties rounded things off, but a convincing Wire win.
Yeah, and individually, Chris Hill had one of his probably his best game so far this year, 161 metres. Steph Ratchford, 141 metres. Bryson Goodwin back in the side, and he's going to be a big player for them. 5 tackle loss, 125 metres, and George King actually put in a tough, hard-running stint for him in the starting from loose forward, 109 metres. For the losing Catalan side, the only stats that were able to jump out were tackling stats. So that tells you as much as you need to know about what they did with the ball, I think. But Ben Garcia, 49 tackles, 10 of which were marker tackles. Braden Willie Army, who for some reason was playing in the second row rather than in the centres, and Gigo should have been in the 6 shirt, and then Bird could have been in the pack. But anyway, he made 47 tackles, 11 marker tackles. Remy Casti, 43 tackles, 12 marker tackles, and that selection thing is one of the reasons why I think McNamara is on such a short leash, because he's not being daring with his team selections. I know Bird's not playing terribly in terms of the way he's playing, but he's not playing like a halfback in that 7 shirt and the 6 shirt.
He only gives you that feeling
wearing.
that he's a bit temporary. He's filling in at the end of a game or something because someone's gone off injured. That's the only thing he feels like he's giving you. It doesn't feel like he's ever going to be a halfback who's going to control or carve up a game.
And if he was at 11, 12 or 13, I think he'd play the game exactly the same way as he's playing it at 6. So he's not really giving him out. Whereas I think Tony Gigo, the 1 or 2 nice bits of play that happened from Catalan was when Gigo went looking for work and got involved off the back of the ruck, or got involved off of Lucas Albert. And that's surely the way they should go. Once they can have 2 blokes who speak the same fucking language stood next to each other in the arse, it'll be an improvement. It just baffles me, his team selection.
But that's always been a classic Steve McNamara. Don't forget, this is the man who picked Brett Ferris as a hooker. I'm never going to forget that. I'm never going to forgive him that.
We had a couple of people who got in touch on the Wakefield Widnes game that was postponed after 27 minutes. A couple of people that were there, which is great to get first-hand experience of the people who were at this.
surprised.
Revolution, first time mid-game abandonment for poor weather conditions in Super League's history. So there's a bit of history on the line there.